Now it's time to check for proper roller pressure. This is a very critical part. Improperly adjusted rollers can affect harvest performance, and if too much pressure is applied between the rollers, it can damage your machine. This part is critical. Use a 5/16 hex wrench to tighten down the roller tension bolts that come through the force caps. To check the roller tension, we will be measuring from the top of the bottom shaft to the top of the top shaft. Given the critical nature of this measurement, it's important to measure accurately. A set of digital calipers is the right tool for the job. The proper measurement from top of shaft to top of shaft is 5.8 inches. If you don't have a set of digital calipers, a tape measure will do. The measurement from the top of the bottom shaft to the top of the top shaft will be 5 13/16. It's very important that the roller pressure is adjusted evenly on both sides of the roller. Now we're going to double check that the roller pressure is accurate on the motor side of the machine. Repeat the measurement for the motor side of the machine. Again, roller tension is absolutely critical, and damage to your machine can occur if this system is out of adjustment. Here is an example of a machine that is clearly out of factory spec. We will need to adjust the roller tension on this machine to ensure that roller damage does not occur. As a reminder, both roller tension bolts must be fully seated with the lock washers flat in order to make any adjustments to the roller tension system. Using two 3/4 inch end wrenches, break apart the two nuts that sit on the roller tension bolt. Be careful not to turn the lower nut while you break these apart. Spin the top nut away from the bottom nut. Use the bottom nut to either drive or relieve pressure to achieve factory setting. In this scenario, we have too much pressure in the roller tension system. We're going to use the bottom nut and relieve pressure until we achieve 5.8 inches from the top of the shaft to the top of the shaft. Now that we've established the roller pressure with the lower nut, it's time to lock the nuts back together. To accomplish this, thread the upper nut down onto the lower nut, and with your 3/4 inch end wrenches, making sure that the lower nut does not move, tighten the two nuts together. Now perform the same exact steps on the opposite side of the machine. It's critically important that roller tension be very even amongst the rollers. Ensure that both measurements are the same. If you are experiencing significant slippage on the stems and your machine is clogging often as a result, you can add a little bit more pressure to the roller tension system to alleviate this issue. It's important that after you make this roller tension adjustment, you keep an eye on your machine for any signs of additional heat. You'll know if your machine is getting too hot because the rollers will transfer heat to the rest of the machine, making the actual faceplate hot to the touch. If you discover that too much heat is getting generated from the rollers, you'll need to back off the pressure setting slightly. The maximum amount of pressure that we would add beyond the factory setting of 5.8 inches is adding another 1/8 inch of pressure. We want to do this 1/16 at a time, and it's very easy by turning the lower nut one full turn. To accurately make one full turn of the lower nut, use a Sharpie to put a mark on the end of the nut and a corresponding location on the top of the bearing. Don't use the washer because the washer can move. Break the nuts apart without moving the lower nut and do one full turn of the lower nut, driving more pressure into the system. That is one full turn of the nut, which equals 1/16 of an inch. Again, the maximum that you would want to do is 2 full turns of this nut. We suggest starting with 1 turn and seeing if harvest performance improves. Repeat the process on the opposite side of the machine, being very careful to make sure that the roller pressure is even on both sides when the task is complete. Never exceed a maximum pressure setting more than 5.675 inches. Damage can occur with a tighter roller pressure setting than 5.675 inches.